In Rome, there were monuments to African kings. After the death of the king of Numidia, Massinissa, a monument was erected in Rome in his honor. During his lifetime, the king was a loyal ally to Rome in its struggle against Carthage. In the Battle of Zama, Massinissa commanded a cavalry of 6,000 Numidians and 3,000 Romans on Scipio's right flank. He attacked and dispersed the Carthaginian cavalry, and in the decisive moment of the battle, he returned and struck the Carthaginians from behind. This determined the outcome of the battle and the entire war. For his service, Massinissa received the kingdom of Syphax, which he later incorporated into Numidia. The king died at the age of 90 without seeing the final destruction of Carthage or a monument in his honor. But could he have imagined that? Love that brought down the ruler of the world. Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, united the northern and southern parts of China, establishing his rule over the entire country and thereby controlling a significant portion of the known world at that time. One of the most famous wives of Kublai Khan was Chabi, also known as Chachi, who was his first wife. She was his most loyal companion and assisted him in governing the empire. Her influence on the Khan was immense. At her request, after the conquest of the Song dynasty, Kublai Khan spared Empress Xia and provided her with a dignified sanctuary befitting her status. Chabi's death in 1281 had a profound impact on Kublai Khan personally. Unable to bear the loss of his beloved wife, he indulged in excessive pleasures and unrestrained drinking, which rapidly deteriorated his health until his death in 1294. In unity there is strength is a proverbial expression that comes from the Latin phrase viribus unitas. It was formulated in Latin by Joseph von Bergmann, a teacher to the sons of Archduke Karl of Austria. These words, serving as a formula for the existence of the multinational Austrian Empire, were publicly announced for the first time on February 12, 1848, by Emperor Franz Joseph. He reiterated them in his manifesto on March 4, 1849, regarding the dissolution of the Kremsier Reichstag. Figuratively, this expression conveys two meanings. It serves as a motto to guide both the government and the citizens of a multi-ethnic state. It represents a principle that through collective efforts, success can be achieved in any endeavor. There is still debate regarding the sexual orientation of Alexander the Great. Nonetheless, he had three wives, Roxana, Statira, and Parisitis. It is believed that Alexander had two children, Heracles, an illegitimate son from his lover Barsine, and Alexander IV with Roxana, the daughter of the king of Sogdiana. After Alexander's death, a war erupted among his closest associates for power in the empire. His son Alexander was too young and relied on his mother Olympias for everything. When she lost the war for power in Macedonia to Cassander, he executed her and sent the young king with his mother into custody at a remote fortress, where they were eventually killed by Cassander, who feared that the true heir of Alexander the Great would rise up in rebellion. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. In World War II, the Allies were about to invade Sicily and Hitler knew it. So in order to keep Hitler from stationing all available troops on Sicily to fight off an invasion, the British hatched a plan to fit a dead body with a British Royal Marines uniform and with letters that said that the Allies were going to invade Greece and that they were using Sicily as a decoy. This was called Operation Mincemeat. They then dropped the body off the coast of Spain, which was closely aligned with Germany. The Spanish found the body and gave the Germans the letters. The Germans thought that the body was that of an actual Royal Marines officer, read the letters, and concentrated on defending Greece instead of Sicily. The Allies then successfully invaded Sicily in part because Hitler took the bait, and the invasion was really important because it resulted in Italy being knocked out of the war. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. Ophir, unidentified region famous in Old Testament times for its fine gold. The geographic list of Genesis 10 apparently places it in Arabia, but in the time of Solomon, Ophir was thought of as being overseas. Many areas of the Arabian Peninsula have been proposed as the site of Ophir. The principal alternative locations overseas are East Africa and India. That many Egyptian pharaohs reported sending naval expeditions to hunt for monkeys, ivory, frankincense, and slaves lends credence to an East African site. On the other hand, the Jewish historian Josephus and Saint Jerome evidently understood that India was the location of Ophir. The Hebrew words for the products of Ophir may be derived from Indian languages. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. One of the most famous rulers of the Mali Empire was Mansa Musa, who reigned from 1312 to 1337. He is considered the wealthiest person in history. During his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, Mansa Musa amazed the world with his enormous wealth. He traveled with a large entourage, including 60,000 attendants, and carried vast amounts of gold and silver objects, precious stones, and ivory. During his journey, Mansa Musa distributed large sums of money and gifts along the way, which caused significant inflationary effects in the countries he passed through. According to accounts, Mansa Musa spent such an immense amount of gold during his travels that it led to a several-month-long global economic crisis in the region. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. Iconic last words of history's famous leaders. Soldiers, fire. Michel Ney, one of Napoleon's generals, after requesting and being given permission to command the firing squad that would execute him for treason. They couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. Union Army General John Sedgwick before being hit by a Confederate sharpshooter at 1,000 yards at the Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse. The strongest. Supposedly Alexander the Great's last words tore his own empire apart. As he was dying, he was asked who should rule after him. He said, "The strongest." "The money doesn't stink" is a disapproving statement about an indifferent attitude towards the way money is acquired. The general meaning of the phrase is that the nature of money does not depend on how it was obtained. The origin of this proverb is associated with the name of the Roman Emperor Vespasian, who introduced a tax on public toilets that generated revenue from the sale of urine. A similar expression is, "The smell of profit is good, no matter where it comes from." It originates from the works of Juvenal, where a father advises his son to engage in trade and not to disdain any merchandise while doing so. This expression emphasizes the idea that profit is desirable regardless of the source or means of acquiring it. The phrase, Paris vaut bien un mess, French for, Paris is well worth a mass, is attributed to Henry IV of France in connection with his decision in 1593 to convert to Catholicism in order to become the King of France and establish the dynasty of the French Bourbons. The expression is used as a humorous justification for a moral compromise made for personal gain. Another variant of the expression is, Paris vaut bien un obedience. Lafayette, who believed in liberty so much he came to help out the Americans during our revolution on his own dime and helped immensely in securing naval support and money from France, which were crucial for our winning the war. He returned to America on a farewell tour as an old man and was given a hero's welcome as one of the last surviving heroes of the revolution. That's why so many streets and counties are named for him. He even brought back American soil for his tomb to be buried in. He truly loved America and saw it as a beacon of hope for Europe. During World War I, when France was overrun by the Germans and desperate for help, our General Pershing finally arrived in Paris after years of occupation, and he went straight to Lafayette's tomb. He said, "Lafayette, we are here." The son of Austerlitz is a proverbial expression attributed to the French Emperor Napoleon I. It originated from the Battle of Austerlitz, which took place on November 20, 1805, and is considered one of the most renowned examples of military strategy in history. The idiom signifies an unconditional victory, triumph, or the beginning of a new era. The expression has become entrenched and remains popular in the French political lexicon and beyond. For example, on May 5, 2021, French President Emmanuel Macron concluded his speech at the Institut de France with the following words: "And the sun of Austerlitz still shines. Long live the Republic, long live France." If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. Carthage must be destroyed is a Latin proverbial expression that signifies a persistent call to fight against an enemy or obstacle. In the work Parallel Lives by the ancient Greek biographer Plutarch, it is mentioned that the Roman military leader and statesman Marcus Porcius Cato the Elder, an uncompromising enemy of Carthage, would conclude all his speeches in the Senate with the phrase, "Furthermore, I consider that Carthage must be destroyed." Rome was greatly concerned by the fact that Carthage posed strong competition to Roman trade. This circumstance led to the emergence of the resoundingly repeated rallying cry, "Carthago delenda est." If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and don't forget to like this video.